Let's pick a country. The paperland, for example. In this country, there is a wide range of economic players: households, companies, banks, and associations. Like you, they have to manage their budget, balancing on one side their revenues, on the other their expenses. Among these players, there is one that is different: the state. Here we refer to the state in broad terms, covering national administrations, local government departments, and social security departments. The state's expenses stem from the services it provides, such as security, justice, and education. It also pays benefits, such as pensions, and it partly covers healthcare costs. The state also receives revenues. Mainly, they consist of taxes on economic activity to finance spendings which benefit to the community. Everyone needs to take part in the common effort, so taxes are compulsory. This is not the only way in which the state is different. If you think about it, the state is potentially immortal. It can never die, nor go out of business, even if it can't pay back its debt. And think about its size. Its expenses and revenues account for a large share of the country's wealth. By the way, who drives the state budget? In a democracy, it's the government under the control of citizens and their representatives. In Paperland, the Minister of the Budget is in charge of it. Let's look what happens from his point of view. When the economy slows down, some people lose their jobs, but most of them keep an income through unemployment benefits. This leads to an increase in government spending. At the same time, the state incurs a loss of revenues. And if the state spends more than it receives, it goes into deficit. It then needs to borrow. This new debt adds to existing debt, and interest has to be paid on all of this. Thus, by managing the state budget, can we influence the economic situation of the whole country? During economic downturns, the Minister of Budget can decide to increase the deficit to stimulate the economy, while hoping that it will recover. For example, the state can decide to build a bridge to improve infrastructures, without raising tax to finance the work. After a few months, if there is a recovery, income will increase again, and the budget will tend to balance. And there will be enough money to repay the debt used to finance the bridge. But in the meantime, if the debt burden becomes too big, lenders to the state will worry about not being repaid. They will then demand higher interest rates. And if these rates rise too much, this will in turn increase deficit, and finally the debt. Deficit feeds into debt, which feeds into deficit, creating a sort of snowball effect. This topic is hotly debated among economists. When there are economic swings, some believe the state should intervene to prevent slowdown or overheating. Others believe in leaving be, as state intervention could contribute to distort economic activity, for example, by acting at a wrong moment when a recovery is already underway. And still others recommend financing investments, which could increase the long-term economic potential of the country. In practice, the effects of these policies vary greatly between countries and periods. For the state, managing its budget means being careful about its financial balance, while adapting to the economic situation of the country. This requires fine-tuning, anticipation, and forward thinking. And all this needs to be done under the watchful eye of its citizens, because the state budget is everyone's business.